Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Before I go to the analysis of today's editorial, which is about a controversial islet and raking up the controversial issue related to a particular islet, I would like to talk about there's an important announcement regarding the new batch. Yesterday I told you guys actual course fee is 2,500, but I said till yesterday 2,000 because a lot of students requested. I'm going to extend the date till April 5th. I would like to repeat till April 5th. It is going to be 2,000, and after April 5th, it is going to be 2,500. This is a foundation course for all competitive exams, bilingual Telugu and English, live batch, live sessions for 2 months, evening 7 p.m. That's all about the new course. Let us go to the editorial. As I said, this editorial is all about a controversial islet or raking up a controversial issue. The editorial discusses the political controversy surrounding the issue of Kachativu, an island located between India and Sri Lanka, and how it has been used for political gains by various parties, particularly the BJP and the Congress. It is all about a controversial issue or politicizing a particular issue. And what is this controversial issue? It is about a particular island, and the editorial uses island once, islet once. Islet means a small island. I'll talk about that later. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is a critical and cautionary. Caution. Be cautious means be careful, a little careful, because it's a controversial issue. How does it start? No man's land. This is an idiomatic expression. When you say no man's land, it means it doesn't belong to anyone. No man's land. But playing politics over Kachativu. What is the stimulus? Playing politics over Kachativu. But what is the main idea of this editorial? Those in power should not rake up issues that affect ties with neighbors. Those in power means the current regime should not. What is the use of should? One function, advise or suggest. In this context, that is a function. Should not rake up. Rake up is an important phrasal verb. Revive the memory of an incident or period that is best forgotten. You try to bring back a forgotten incident, that is known as a raking up, a forgotten issue, bringing to the limelight. Because why does the editorial say those in power or the current regime should not rake up issues that are controversial? Because that affect ties. Here you have to recollect affect and effect. Affect ties with neighbors, because this bone of contention, our students know there are two idioms: bone of contention, apple of discord. Means what? The cause of dispute. Why shouldn't they rake up controversial issues? Because there is a potential to affect ties with neighbors. In this context, ties with the neighboring country Sri Lanka. How does it start? Prime Minister Narendra Modi by raking up the contentious matter. We have got this word many a time, but still have brought. Contentious means controversial, causing or likely to cause an argument. Controversial. Simply remember the word. Contentious means controversial. Part of speech adjective. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, by raking up the contentious matter of Kachativu, has set present perfect tense an unhealthy trend of politicizing an issue for electoral gains, and one that has bearing on ties with Sri Lanka. Has bearing on ties with, an important expression. Exactly, yes, Tripura Sundari, I'm sure. Some of the students I was expecting they would come up with related idioms. What does the sentence mean? Prime Minister, by raking up the contentious matter of Kachativu, has set something, has set what? Has initiated, has set, has started an unhealthy trend. What is this unhealthy trend of politicizing an issue for electoral gains? Unhealthy trend of politicizing an issue for electoral gains. That itself is not a big deal. Many parties do that before elections. But, and one that has bearing on ties with Sri Lanka, one that has bearing on ties with Sri Lanka. Has bearing on ties with Sri Lanka means what? It is going to make an impact when it comes to the ties between India and Sri Lanka. This part is very important. Mr. Modi on March 31 on X stated that new facts reveal you all know, that's why I haven't brought the meaning. Reveal means what? Disclose, make public, divulge. New facts reveal how Congress carelessly gave away Kachathi. The sentence talks about the statement on the platform X by the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, about something. Mr. Modi on March 31st on X platform stated that new facts reveal how Congress carelessly gave away Kachathi. Today, many words are used regularly. You all know careless. We have got many a time. Part of speech adjective. What does it mean? Unkind, cruel, without sympathy. More than cruel, I would rather say unkind, without sympathy or feeling for other people. Someone is suffering and you don't have any feelings towards that person, you don't try to do anything, you're not compassionate, then what is the word we use for you? Callous. Callous, not a positive word, a negative word. When it comes to effective English, we use the word callous. When it comes to everyday English, we use the word stony. Yes, Naidu, Paidi, very good. Stubborn, adamant, those are other, they go with other context. Stubborn, adamant, obstinate, obdurate. One group, these four words, but they go with a different context. They mean not listening to someone, not to listen to someone, not to change the stand. But here it is not about not changing the stand, it is about you don't care about others' sufferings. Give away, easy to understand. Even though the state BJP, like other parties in Tamil Nadu, has been talking about the island's retrieval, has been talking about, tell me which tense is that? I have been teaching, you have been listening, has been talking about present perfect continuous tense. What is the use of present perfect continuous? We use it to express an action that begins in the past, comes to the present, and may go into future. Then we say has been talking, present perfect continuous. Even though the state BJP, like Tamil Nadu state BJP, like other parties in Tamil Nadu, has been talking about the island's retrieval. Retrieve also I use quite often. I use when I talk about storing information and retrieving. The process of getting something back from somewhere. You learn a lot. And when you learn a lot, you have to learn in a systematic way. You have to streamline the information. And when you streamline the information or when you streamline whatever you learn, you store in an organized manner, it becomes easy to retrieve. In the exam, what matters, I always tell students preparing for competitive exams, in a competitive exam, two things are very important. One, you don't have to be the best. You should be better than others. Second, what you know is not important. How fast you can retrieve or recollect is important. You may know something, but you take a lot of time to retrieve, it doesn't help. What you know is not important. How fast you can recollect, that is important. All these words are familiar words. The situation gets complicated when its national leadership too lends its voice. Here, there's one important word, like. Like here I cannot write because it takes a lot of time. When we try to join or combine two subjects using expressions like with, together with, along with, as well as like, unlike, besides, in addition to, no less than, rather than, any of these, the subject agrees with the verb agrees with the first subject, not the second subject. And typical example I give, the minister as well as the party workers have been arrested. Wrong. The minister as well as the party workers has been arrested. That you have to recollect and important. What does the sentence say? Even though the state BJP, like other parties in Tamil Nadu, has been talking about the islands retrieval, a problem comes up. When does the problem come up? The situation gets complicated when its national leadership too lends its voice. Lend your voice means support someone or something. Here, national leadership in the form of the Prime Minister. As with the Congress-led UPA government, the BJP-led NDA regime we have got many a time. What does it mean? The current government too has seen present perfect tense. The islet means small island, and here regime, a government, especially an authoritarian one, need not be all the time. Island, islet means a small island, but you should also recollect usually a book 100 plus pages. Imagine there's a book with 10 pages. What is the word we use? Booklet. Like islet, booklet. That is also an important one. It provides a background information. In 2022, the External Affairs Ministry MEA informed the Rajya Sabha that Kachativu lies on the Sri Lankan side of the India-Sri Lanka International Maritime Boundary Line. When you take the international maritime boundary line, this particular islet lies on the Sri Lankan side. Imagine this is the international maritime boundary line. India is this side, Sri Lanka is this side. And this particular islet, Kachativu, lies perhaps somewhere here on the side of Sri Lankan side. In 2013, again providing the background information, in 2013, the UPA regime told the Supreme Court that the question of retrieval did not arise as no territory belonging to India was ceded to Sri Lanka. The UPA-led government made a statement in Rajya Sabha way back in 2013, and what did it tell? It told that the question of retrieval did not arise. This is an important expression. The question does not arise. The problem does not arise. The problem did not arise. The question of retrieval did not arise. Why? As no territory belonging to India was ceded to Sri Lanka. Nothing that belongs to India was ceded to Sri Lanka. Cede means to give up power or territory. That means what? It is on the side of on Sri Lankan side. It belongs to Sri Lanka, and India did not cede with any part of the territory. It contended. Contend has two different meanings. One meaning to compete, but in this context, that is not the meaning. Content part of here it can be contended part of speech adjective, but content as such a verb. Past participle used as an adjective. Assert something as a position in an argument. You take a stand, you take a stance, and you try to assert that, you try to be assertive. Then we use the word contended. It contended that the islet was a matter of dispute between British India and Ceylon, and that there was no agreed boundary. When Britishers ruled, it was a matter between British India and Ceylon, and that there was no agreed boundary, a matter settled through 1974 1976 agreements leading to the IMBL. Earlier it was like no man's land, but after 1974-1976 agreements leading to the IMBL, it was decided in favor of Sri Lanka. A little after Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, an MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, affidavit, a written statement in the court of law, in the Madras High Court stated that sovereignty, sovereign we have got many a time. What does it mean? India is a sovereign country. Means India is not ruled by any other country. India is politically independent. Then we use the word sovereign. Modi became Prime Minister. A little after Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, an MEA affidavit in the Madras High Court stated that sovereignty over Kachativu is a settled matter. Means what? It belonged to Sri Lanka. No need to discuss. That's why the editorial says raking up, bringing back a controversial or a forgotten issue. But the present government, the current regime, has also been telling, Which tense is that again? Present perfect continuous. Has also been telling Parliament that the matter relating to the islet is sub judice as it was before the Supreme Court. There's one important expression here, sub judice. Two separate words, do remember. Generally, people write sub judice. No. Sub judice means what? Part of speech adjective under judicial consideration and therefore prohibited from public discussion elsewhere. Something is under judicial consideration, then we cannot discuss in public, then we say the matter is sub judice, an important expression. Apex court, yes. The crux of the row, generally we have come across many a time, the crux of the matter, crux part of speech noun, the decisive or most important point at issue. You are talking about a particular issue, and the most important thing related to that particular issue, we use for that the word crux. What is the crux of the matter? Generally, what is the crux of the problem? Here, the crux of the row. Row has two different meanings. One meaning, a lot of people form a line, then we use the word row, one behind the other. But here, row has a different meaning altogether. One more meaning of row, rowing the boat. You move the boat, then also we use the word row. But here, row as a noun, a noisy argument of fight. A fight, we use the word row. The crux of the row means the crux of the dispute now is whether the Congress under Jawaharlal Nehru or Indira Gandhi had callously handled the matter. Now, what is the question? What is the crux of the matter? What is the crux of the row? Whether the Congress, under whose leadership, under Jawaharlal Nehru or Indira Gandhi, had callously handled the matter. Had handled past perfect tense because it goes into the past, first action. Callously, without any emotions. When someone is suffering, you don't respond, callous attitude. Handle the matter. That is a question now. Whether the Congress had handled the matter callously. That is a pertinent question. That is actual row. Documents from an RTI query by BJP State President K. Annamalai revealed that the Indian leadership, before the agreements of 1974 and 1976, had recognized that it did not have a strong case over the territory. That time, Indian leadership thought regarding the territory of that particular islet, the sovereignty of that particular islet, India did not have a strong case over the territory. Means, had they claimed also, they couldn't have defended. Even though the area was part of the Jamindari of the Raja Ramanathapuram since 1803. It belonged to a particular Raja of Ramanathapuram, since 1803. Still, in the leadership felt India did not have a valid reason or some sort of justification it could not. A report in the Hindu March 1972 says the annual church festival began over 90 years ago. This expression is also important. Sometimes people say 90 years back. Here we cannot use the word back, we have to say ago. Yes, Naidu Paidi, very good. All of you, while listening to me, have a look at the comment box. Some students have been contributing. Take a pick, you can learn a few expressions, a few words. 90 years ago. But what must have troubled the Indian authorities? Must have troubled. This is an important expression. We have two patterns, one may or might. We prefer might plus have plus verb past participle form. What is it here? Must plus have plus verb past participle form. First one talks about a past possibility which is a guess. Something happened in the past and I don't know how it happened, then I make a guess, I use this pattern. The servant might have stolen the chain. A lot of people came, I guess the servant might have stolen the chain. Must have is used to make a deduction about the past, not a guess, deduction. Deduction means what? Come to a conclusion based on facts. Imagine only one person came, I lost a gold chain, I don't have to guess, I will say, the servant must have stolen the chain, must have troubled the Indian authorities. Going by the minutes of a meeting in Chennai in 1974 between Foreign Secretary Keval Singh and Chief Minister Mr. M. Karunanidhi were historical facts aiding Sri Lanka. Something must have troubled the Indian leadership. What must have troubled? Historical facts helping Sri Lanka. Here, aiding means what? Historical facts helping Sri Lanka means the facts were in favor of Sri Lanka. So the Indian leadership must have got troubled. These include the reference by an Indian survey team in 1874-76 to Kathathivu being part of Sri Lanka. Indian survey team referred way back in 1874-76 to Kathathivu being a part of Sri Lanka. I suppose it is Kathathivu. Sri Lanka's assertive means what? To state firmly. Sri Lanka's assertion of sovereignty since 1921, when talks began to demarcate the fishery line in the Park Bay, and the inability of the Madras presidency to establish the islet's original title. When did Sri Lanka started being assertive? Sri Lanka's assertion of sovereignty over this particular islet since 1921. When talks began to demarcate the fishery line in the Park Bay and the inability of the Madras presidency to establish the islet's original title. Besides, in addition, Sri Lanka had been exercising jurisdiction over the territory since the mid-1920s without protest by India. Had been exercising an important one, which tense is that past perfect continuous. Where do we use past perfect continuous? An action that had been going on for some time at a given time in the past. Imagine yesterday I started the session at 10:30 I was teaching. I taught till 11. Someone asks me, "Sir, what were you doing at 10:30 yesterday?" I had been teaching for half an hour at 10:30 yesterday. Past perfect continuous. Imagine the same situation today. I use present perfect continuous. This is an important one, not easy under pressure in the exam. And here that clue for you, the time period since the mid 1920s without protest by India. Since 1920s, India has not protested. That means what? India accepted. Nehru's observation on giving up. We have got this giving up many a time. Give up means what? To renounce an activity or belief. Giving up our claim, or constitutional expert M.C. Setawal's favorable opinion is thus cited by critics of the Congress and the DMK. But the RTI documents show that the decision had sound basis. The decision of the leadership that time, if you look at the documents, show something. What do they show? The decision had sound basis. Sound basis means something that can be justified. Based on justification, rational, reasonable, sound, means you have to accept. It is understandable if political leaders in Tamil Nadu raise a demand of Kathathivu's retrieval every now and then, on and off. For political gains, they try to do that. Imagine the leaders in Tamil Nadu raise this controversial issue or contentious issue of Kathathivu on and off. We can understand because they want to get political gains. But it would be extremely disturbing if the Prime Minister too joins the bandwagon. Local leaders do it, acceptable. But if the Prime Minister joins the bandwagon, means what? Join a popular activity, then it becomes extremely disturbing. Why does it become extremely disturbing when the Prime Minister joins the bandwagon? Because the stand taken by the Prime Minister in a way represents the stand taken by the country. And that will definitely affect the ties with the neighboring countries in this context, Sri Lanka. That is the main idea being reiterated. That's all about this editorial. I would like to tell you guys, lack of time. I'm not doing these over here, But 7 to 7:45, 7:50, we have this the Hindu editorial analysis in Telugu, and try to join that session at 7:30. I usually take 30 minutes to complete the editorial analysis, and 7:32, it is about 7:45 a.m., 15 minutes or more than that. Yesterday it took 23 minutes. Daily practice questions based on grammar, reading comprehension skill, vocabulary. Extremely useful. And after the session, those who have purchased the foundation course English, they will get the PDF with annotations and the practice questions. And those who have purchased the Telugu bilingual course also will get the PDF with annotations and with the practice questions. Practice questions, very useful. Join that session, and I will see you guys at 7:30. Try to join. Thank you very much. Thanks for being with me till the back end of the session. Do remember to subscribe and share.